Hey y'all, welcome back to Simple Graceful Home. My name is Angie. I'm here today with Mr. London. And today I thought we'd talk about our goals for the homestead in 2021. Man, we've been here a whole year. This past December 31st made it a year. And while we haven't done a lot, when I look back, it doesn't seem like we did that much. And I imagine that probably has a lot to do with being really sick and pregnant and all those fun things. We did attempt some things and some things didn't go well, which it's always a learning process. I'm sure a lot of you can imagine and understand. It can be crazy. For example, we had a ton of chickens. We had, I think, 18 chickens, 1 rooster, 6 guineas, 4 ducks, 3 goats at one time. We don't have any of that anymore. Over days, for the majority, all of our chickens, ducks, guineas were slaughtered. Not by us, by some wild animals, or I don't know what it was, honestly. And we just kept going back over the barn area where they're enclosed, because they free range during the day and they would go back in at night, and we'd close them up. But somehow something was getting in, and we couldn't for the life of us figure it out, because we couldn't find holes. There was the fencing, and then you have over top of the fencing is more fencing to enclose even the top of it so birds couldn't get to them. It was just crazy, and somehow something was still getting them. We didn't know what to do, so we haven't attempted to get any more birds since then at all, because all the birds, all the chickens, ducks, guineas, they were all gone in days. It was super crazy and scary, and actually became so bad that the guineas were scared to go back in the coop at night. I'm assuming this is what happened. So instead, we have a tree house out here that's built up against a huge tree, and so there's an opening in the tree house into the tree. It's really cool. And so the birds were going, the guineas first. The guineas were going up into the tree house, and then getting up in the tree, because it was a huge tree, to sleep at night. And then the chickens started following them. But what ended up happening was different predators started getting them. It was just a nightmare, basically. And then we had goats that we loved, and they did a wonderful job for us for what we did need them for the purpose at the time. And we needed some boar goats to clear the land. Part of it anyways. And they did. The only problem is that anybody that's had goats knows that they are escape artists. And so they kept getting out. We don't have really great fencing along the perimeter of that property. So what we were doing was we have electric fencing that we got from Premier One. And with this is pretty standard electric fencing. We got our solar powered charger from there and everything. So that worked great for a time, but somehow, no matter what we did, and then against the fencing that was already there, we would put cattle panels. Not necessarily cattle panels. I'm not sure which panels they were, but anyways, other metal fencing up against it, and we would zip tie it, and then we'd have to move it down the fence line, and then also move the fencing along with it. And yet somehow they still kept getting out. It was insane. So we live very close. I know you probably can see cars passing by sometimes. So we live really pretty close to the road. Like, when you go out the front door, you're basically at the driveway. Right when you pull off the road, you're parked. Like, you're not driving down a road to get to our house. We live right off the highway, very close. So they would get out and they would come up to the front, and then I was really scared they were going to get hit by a car. And I was scared for them, but also was scared for who was driving. And then also we would be held liable for anything that happened. So we gave them to some people from my husband's work, to a family that has young children, one being an autistic little girl. And so they found it, they were excited about the goats because the goats were very friendly. There was 3 of them, and it was actually a family. So it was a mom and her 2 kids. Well, I wouldn't call them, they weren't kids anymore, but a boy and a girl. So there was 2 girls and a boy. And they're very friendly, very sweet. And so we gave them to them basically just as pets, not for the purpose of clearing land, because they are really sweet. So we have them around us all the time. So, and my daughter, I know my little girl's probably sad when they left, but she doesn't, she's so young, she probably doesn't know the difference now. She don't remember. Anyhow, so what we have now would be a pig, 2 kittens, and we actually have 2 pups, and I'll be doing a video in the next few days on that. Introducing our pups. They're super cute. So I don't want to talk too much about them. But we got the pups for the purpose of protecting our chickens and whatever else we may have. So, okay, I'm talking a lot. So let's just talk about, for a couple minutes, about goals we have on the homestead this year. There's quite a few things, and most of these are just items that are specific to homesteading. Trying to really get established, get in a good routine, trying to preserve for ourselves food, and all these sorts of things that are a big deal. Trying to be self-sufficient as much as possible for us, anyways. We're not going to be as self-sufficient as other people, and we may be more self-sufficient than some other people. So we're probably, I'd be content to be in the middle somewhere. I really would. Okay, so homesteading goals, ready? Well, I ordered a bunch of chickens already from Cackle Hatchery here in Missouri and Lebanon. And so I'll be picking up a bunch of hens in February or March. I can't remember. Anyway, so I need a new chicken coop because I don't want to put them back in the barn. There is an area, again, sectioned off specifically for the chickens. It was there when we bought the property. So they already had it like that, and we just continued to try to repair it or fix it, trying to make it better. But instead, what we're going to do is build a chicken coop, and we're going to put it by the barn. And I prefer my chickens to free range. I think that's just the best, most natural way to do it. I don't want to keep them enclosed all the time, especially not in fear of something happening to them, but I just want to let them roam, let them eat as much as they like, let them kick up the ground, scratch it up, whatever they want to do. So I want to build a new chicken coop specifically for the laying hens and obviously rooster. But so that's a big goal. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do it. I've been working on some plans on kind of what I want, and I've been looking at some ideas that other people have done. So that's a project. We need to build a chicken tractor because when I bought the chickens, the layers, I bought some meat chickens as well. Well, they're called fire chickens. They're not the typical meat chickens that we'd normally get, that you would normally get, not we, because we haven't done it before, but that you'd normally get when you're raising chickens for meat. That usually be like, what are they called? I'm going to blank. Freedom Rangers. A Freedom Ranger or Cornish cross hens. We didn't get any of those because, number one, they are more pricey. But even I had planned on still doing that on a smaller scale, only like 10 to try it out, see how we've never processed chickens. But they weren't even letting you buy anymore, even on order. So I ended up getting a pack of fryers, and fryers, they're less than like $1 a piece. And I think basically what they are, just a bunch of roosters they have from other breeds that they don't sell as meat birds, right? But fryers, they're called fryers. So I guess they're technically they'd be good for frying. I'm not sure, but anyhow, so those were really inexpensive. And since we were just trying our hand at it, you had to buy a pack of 25, and it basically came out to about $25. It was like roughly $1 a chicken. So I figured it couldn't hurt for us to try it. We've never processed chickens before, so that's actually another one of our. Oh, I actually skipped ahead of myself. Because we got meat birds, I need a chicken tractor. Now, I have a kind of a little shelter that we built for the goats when we have them, to give them some protection when they were out on the property when it would rain or anything like that. Because especially the mama goat, she didn't like getting wet. So I plan on actually taking that apart and using that for the base of the chicken tractor. If that's going to work well, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what my goal is. So chicken tractor, then I was talking about processing chickens. We've never processed chickens before, so this is something we're going to learn this year, how to process chickens. My sweet husband, I'm hoping that he's going to have the stomach for it with me, because he doesn't care for those, not that type of work or something, but he just doesn't care for the yucky parts of it, the blood and all those types of things. So I'm hoping that we can get through that well. We are also getting just a few turkeys, 3 turkeys and 6 guineas. We really like guineas because they're really great for ticks, and they are also like a guard dog. So while they're not going to like run anything off, but they'll let you know basically something's around that shouldn't be around. So I really do like guineas. So does my husband. And then we also want to learn how to process pig. So we'd like to have our own pork. We're not going to be trying to do that with a cow or anything. I mean, even raise our own cow. Maybe down the road. Not this year, is not in plans. But definitely hog. We do have a pig. And we are looking currently for somebody who can come alongside of us and teach us what to do. So this is another big project. And then our garden, let me tell you, my garden is so ridiculous. I attempted this past year, I was pregnant. I did not do a good job. It was awful. I did get some produce. You know, some of it did fine. And I still have some kale growing in the garden. There's still onions on the ground, cabbage. There's a few things. So I have a few things. But not because I did a good job. That's for the lack of my hard work. Because I didn't do any hard work. Basically. Oh, what's so wrong, my love? I know. He's angry. So that's irrespective of me, basically. It's the only reason that's there. So I plan on, when we first got here, I plan on doing raised garden beds. And then I didn't do it because they already had a sections hilled up already for gardening. So I thought, well, maybe, you know, they had really great success or something, because the ground here is ridiculously rocky. Like, anytime you put something in the ground, you're hitting a rock. It's really crazy. And so it's not fun. Now the garden is not like that necessarily, because this garden has been there for a long time. With that being said, I did find it easier to plant, easier than if I was like trying to walk right out here and do something like that. That's not going to happen without some crazy hard work, like ridiculously. But the weed control in that thing is like out of hand. There's no controlling it. I mean, it's really crazy to me, because there's just flowers and straw growing like crazy in that garden. Like all popping up together. Like that's all it is like flowers and straw. So, I am going to be using a bed system this year. And making some trellises and things like that. with the cattle panels that we do have here that were left, so we didn't like invest in it or anything. And there are quite a few T-posts that we can use to support them. So that'll all be a complete haul over basically in the garden. And then we have, because of the garden, so my goal is to build up our root cellar storage. Now, my root cellar does still need something on the ground. So I need something, some pea gravel. I haven't done that, so I still need that. But my goal is I really like to have it established, so full of food by the time next winter comes, so that we are stocked for the winter. I really hate raining out because I need potatoes. Like, I just hate it. I hate not having what I want. I don't like, because the store's so far away, I'm not against the store or anything, but the store's not very conveniently located for us. So I just would prefer be as well stocked as we can. And I mean, for the most part we are. But when it comes to anything fresh, we're not. So we do lack, if we run out, then I'm like just waiting till the next time I go to town. I buy some things at Walmart, but I buy those on a smaller scale. So mostly when I go to the larger town, city that's close to us, which is an hour away, it's in Springfield, then I stock up. And especially now that I've had him, I'm not going once a week anymore. So it takes, now it's been 3 weeks since I've been, so. Hey. I know, but he's tired. He don't want to go to sleep though. So anyhow, I really want to get on really being prepared next winter in this regard. And then, okay, so we really need to clear some of our land, like big time. There's an opening right in the middle of the property, and we probably have like 4 acres, maybe 3.5-ish acres in both directions from our house. That is nothing but trees, brush. It's super crazy. You can only walk through it in the wintertime. In the summertime or springtime, it's crazy overgrown. There's no walking through it without being like cut up with briars and probably covered in ticks. So it's super crazy. So our goal is to clear quite a bit of the land. Now, my father, so thankful. My father has been kind enough that he's selling us his tractor for crazy cheap, basically. This a deal we find it very difficult to try to pass up. So he is even going to bring it to us. So he'll be bringing us a tractor. It's nothing crazy big. It's a small tractor. It's a John Deere 3320, but it has the front loader on it. And so we're going to be using that quite a bit to clear out the land. It'll come with a brush hog and all kinds of good stuff that we can use around the homestead. So I'm really excited about that. And my husband's super excited because he wants so bad to clear some of the land. It'd just be nice to be able to use more of our property, basically. Okay, and then I want to plant, well, I don't say we, but I would like to plant more fruit trees. Especially since I had a deer break one of my peach trees the other day, one of the saplings. So I was kind of sad. We only have one established fruit tree here, and that's actually right behind me. You can't see it, but it's right behind me. We have an established peach tree that's been here for a long time. It does really well if you get to the peaches before the animals do. So, okay, so fruit trees. We do have some. I'm not even 100% sure which are the ones we had, because I have to do something to protect them also because of the deer and all that good stuff. So, all right. Also, this is a big deal, and this will go along with clearing the land, but we also need to start preparing, cutting down trees to prepare for our firewood next year. This is not something that my husband or I have any experience. We don't have any experience in any of these things, except we've had chickens for years. We've had chickens almost the whole time we've been married, and we will have been married coming on 6 years now. So we've been raising chickens for a little bit. So we have a little bit of knowledge about chickens, for laying hens anyways, but not anything else. like anything. So we want to make sure we're doing what we can instead of having to pay somebody else, which is what we did this winter. We paid somebody to come and bring us wood and all those good things. And while I'm super thankful and that is convenient, we do have tons of trees. Like, we're in no shortage of trees. So we really need to get on that and be cutting them down so they'll be seasoned for next winter. Okay. And then, okay, now there's a couple of things in the house specifically that I really like to get done just to make it more comfortable for us and easier. And in terms, well, mostly for me. So, I know, my love. Oh, I know. Because it's right here. I know. And if anybody's wondering, he did nurse. He just likes to constantly suck. So, my other one's like that too. But he likes that motion. I guess it's comforting. Anyhow, so Tulip in London's room. So it's not their room yet. It's still just Tulip's room. But I do have some projects in the room too. It's a very small room. So I know that. At the same time, eventually London will go in that room for a time because our room is in the very back of the house. My husband and I. It's in the very back. And then their room is the next room from there. Now, that room, besides our room, because that's where the wood burning stove is, that stays the warmest, number one. Number two, the next room from there is through the kitchen, through the dining room, and then to the right. And so it's just so much further away. I just don't feel comfortable having her, my little girl, so far away. I don't feel good about it. When she gets older, I will be totally happy to move her to her own room. But when they're small, I just find it better to have them together. And so they're in earshot of me, and I can always hear if she needs me or eventually if he'll need me. So I have some projects to do in their room. It's kind of a funky shape. It's like a little rectangle, but then it has a small cutout to the side. So it's kind of weird, but that's where right now her crib is tucked in there. So I plan on building some beds instead. Well, specifically one bed up higher in there for her to have so that she can, and then I can put his bed underneath eventually. And then that will just leave the rest of the room still for them to play and stuff. And they don't have a ton of clothes or anything. Oh, I mean, Tulip does, because Tate didn't get to, which are her grandparents on my husband's side, but they love to buy her clothes, and so does her auntie Rhonda. So she does kind of have a lot of clothes, but really they don't. There's one small dresser and one small area to hang clothes, and that's going to be sufficient for both of them. And right now I have both of their clothes in that dresser. So it's 4 drawers. They share it. I think that's more than enough, and they got their clothes hanging up. So it'll just lift it so I'm not taking away any play area for them. And then, let's see. I'm constantly thinking of how I can make things more efficient in a kitchen, as I'm sure most people who spend a lot of time in their kitchen do, right? So I have done a ton of work already in our kitchen. At the same time, I have come up with another project that needs to be done, which my sweet husband, I know I feel so bad for him because he probably is just wondering, like, is this never going to end? I hope it does. But I have a section of cabinets up top that I want to take down. I already don't have doors on it because I have a bunch of glass jars that hold a bunch of our dry goods. The main purpose, it's like twofold. The main purpose for me taking down these cabinets, and I will be adding just open shelving instead, is to make room for my new mixer, because I bought a professional mixer. A KitchenAid professional 600. So it's just a 6-quart mixer, but it's substantially larger than the artesian one I had. So it will not fit on the counter. And it's heavier too than the artesian one. So it's not exactly convenient for me to keep picking it up and down. Like, it's not, like, I don't want to do that. It's ridiculous. Like, I want it to be as easy as possible. So I do want my mixer to be on the countertop. I don't like any of my other appliances left on the counter except the mixer. So I need the cabinets to be high enough that I can put that up there and leave it. And then also, I'd like to be able to move my Berkey down closer to my sink, because I'm always walking it down to the edge of the counter, which it's not like it's killing me, but I just like it to be more convenient and to be near the water source instead of all the way at the other end of the counter. And then I'll shift the cabinets a little bit. It won't be all the way to the opening where they're at now. Anyways, so I'll be doing that. Also, we have our wood floors. While the ones in our living room look great, the ones in our kitchen they're awful. So I know that's something my husband really wants to be done, because they're just ugly. They really are. I mean, I'm thankful we have wood floors because it's important to me, but we're going to have to figure out if they can be refinished or what we need to do about it. And then also, I really would like to renovate our bathroom. Our bathroom is so old school. It has the white tile with the black tile trim, and it's not even white tile, I'm sorry. It's a cream tile with gold flecks in it. And then the walls are painted purple. The cabinets are painted blue. Like a pale, I'm eventually, when I do this, you'll see. And the floor is it's like a bluish gray slate tile. I don't even know. It doesn't, in no way does it go together or is appealing. And even the counter is really weird, or the vanity area is so strange. And then there's like a cabinet over top, and then there's a huge open space. And the open space looks like they probably used to have the washer in there. But I don't know. There's still water fixtures in there on the, like, down low. I don't know what that's there for. It's just a weird bathroom. Love how big it is, but it needs a lot of work. So that is another large project we'll be doing. And all the things I can come up with the top of my head, that's it. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that I'm not like a crazy person. That I'm not a crazy person, because I am. What's going to happen is I'm going to end up coming with a bunch of other things that I really want to get done that are like seem super important to me, which they probably are, but just saying. Anyhow, I thought it would be fun to do this video so that in the beginning of the year, we're looking at all the things that we'd like to get done. And then at the end of the year, I'd like to make another video to see if I actually got any of those things done. So we'll see what happens, right? All right. Thank you for joining London and myself here at Simple Grace Field at Home. Just listening to me chat, talking about what we're going to do and what we look forward to. I hope you come along with me as we attempt to do some of these things and get this homestead off the ground, right? Thank you for joining me again. Come back and we can talk about how we care, create, and cultivate grace in our home and all around us. Thank you so much.